What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of City Talk. And today we have got quite a few things to cover. City had 2 games last week. Obviously we had the Chelsea game in midweek, the Hull game at the weekend. We've got a few questions from you guys again, and we've also got the Southampton game to preview, as well as I look at David Silva, who made his 300th appearance for Man City over the weekend. So if you do enjoy this episode, as always, smash a big thumbs up on it if you do enjoy, and don't forget, if you've got any questions or if you've got any answers to the questions that I'm answering, leave them in the comment section down below. So today we're going to be kicking things off with a couple of questions from you guys, and the first one comes in from iPluto Gaming, and his question is, do you think Iheanachos has a future at the club? And you know what? This is a very interesting question, because if this question had come up like 6 months ago, I would have said yes, 100%. He's a great young talent, goal scoring machine. We didn't have really another striker at the time, but now of course Gabriel Jesus is coming to the firing line, not the firing line, he's coming into the squad I should say. He's been incredible when he's played. We've still got Aguero of course, and I do honestly believe that Iheanachos is now our third choice striker, and if we do bring in someone else, he could potentially be pushed out of the frame completely. Now I hope that doesn't happen, because when you look at the guy's goal scoring returns, when you look at his minutes per goal ratio, he is unbelievable. I don't think he's got the same amount of talent as Jesus as far as technical ability goes, but when it comes to being in the right place at the right time and scoring goals, which is what football's all about, what a striker is all about, then Iheanachos has got that talent in abundance. And like I say, his record, his goal ratio shows that, and that he's got that in absolute abundance. So I think he has got a future, and it's going to be interesting to see how we line up next season, because I've discussed the striker issue before. We've got Jesus, obviously, I've just mentioned in Aguero. Iheanachos is a third. I still think, even if we kept all three, that we should get another striker on the books, because you only have to have a little injury crisis. Someone like Aguero's been injured a lot in the past, he's had his issues. Jesus, obviously, this season, if that was to happen again, we'd only have Iheanachos left. So I do think he's got a future at the club, but I don't think he's going to see anywhere near as much game time as he would have done before Jesus came onto the books. The second question is coming in from Jack McCall, and he asks, would you keep faith in your centre-backs? Of course, Man City this season, we've had a lot of defensive issues. Personally, I think a lot of the defensive issues has been down to the system rather than the personnel. I don't think Otamendi's had a great season, saying that. Stones has made a couple of mistakes here and there. However, Stones in particular is someone that I'd really keep faith in. He's young, he's showing potential, he's had some great games this season as well as making a couple of mistakes. You can't overlook that. And I do think John Stones is someone that we 100% need to keep faith in, because he's got the potential ability, and he's also got the play style that Pep Guardiola wants to see from his centre-backs. He's a great ball player, he's not afraid to take risks, and although that may land him in trouble every now and then, it's something that, you know, I think is going to be part of the DNA of the team, and particularly of the defence going forward, as long as Guardiola's in charge. Otamendi, as far as he goes, you know, I feel a bit sorry for him, because I think he's a great centre-back, but he's been told to play in a system that he doesn't know. I think in the past, perhaps he's been playing a more traditional centre-back role where he gets the ball and just clears it, not particularly playing it from the back, and that is something that I think he's struggled with a lot, the playing under pressure, trying to pick out passes when he's under pressure. So Otamendi, I think maybe we might see leave potentially, but I kind of think we should keep faith with him as well, because as a centre-back goes, he has got the base ability. It's just the passing game he needs to work on a bit more positionally maybe as well. But Stones definitely needs to be kept, obviously. Otamendi, I'm a bit potentially. Company, of course, is someone that played the last game. In fact, no, he didn't. Did he play against Hull? I can't remember now. He definitely played against Chelsea. Maybe if he stays fit, it's a big if though, then he could also be a massive partner for John Stones and really fulfil that role, because Company is also a great ball-playing centre-back. He used to play midfield when we first signed him, of course, but that's just a completely different issue on whether he can stay fit. But to answer the question, John Stones, definitely yes. Company, if he can stay fit, definitely. Otamendi, I'm not so sure on. I definitely do think we should bring in another centre-back, whether it's someone from the youth team that we could perhaps bed in, or whether it's another big signing, because we've signed a lot of centre-backs over the last few years. We mustn't forget the likes of Savic, Nastasic, Mangala, to name a few. We don't want to be left in that same position again, so hopefully we can get someone and form a solid partnership, which I don't think we've had for a long time at the club. And sticking with the question of signing players, we now come on to the third and final question of today's episode from you guys, and that is coming in from Kanchi23, and he asks, do you think we need to sign any more midfielders? He commented as well saying about how he feels like Yaya Torres not what he once was. Of course, he's getting a bit older. David Silva, who we're going to talk about in a second as well, also getting on in the years. And to answer your question, I think yes, we do need to sign some more midfielders. However, I do think it's a particular type of midfielder that we need, and that kind of player is someone like Kante, and you could almost say someone like Fabian Delphs, who played against Chelsea and against Hull and was absolutely outstanding. He's another player that doesn't necessarily stay fit the best. He always seems to have injury problems, but when he plays, he puts in a shift. He gets up and down the pitch. I thought he did really well against Chelsea, considering it was his first game in a long time. And against Hull, obviously, he banged in a very nice goal and also looks very competent in the middle of the park. So if we do sign another midfielder, which I do think we could do with doing, it needs to not be another luxury player as I described them. It needs to be someone that I think can put a shift in, another Delphs, another Fernandinho, that kind of player, because I do think that's what our midfield lacks sometimes, that drive to get back and forward. So we were just talking about midfielders, and now we're moving on to someone that made his 300th appearance for the club at the weekend. David Silva has been an incredible servant for this club. And I just wanted to put in a little section just to say how incredible he has been over the last however many years he's been at the club. 300 appearances, been an absolute class act. And I think in years go by, when years have gone by, and you look back at David Silva's time at Man City, I think he will go down as a legend, because when we brought him in, we were still fighting for that top 4 spot. We brought him in at the same time with the likes of Aguero, the likes of Tevez, I believe, all those players under the Mark Hughes era, I think was the manager at the time. And he has been nothing short of outstanding for the club in that time. Yes, there's been parts this season where it's been a bit quieter maybe, but on the whole, even this week, his 2 performances against Chelsea and against Hull, I thought were absolutely outstanding. And sometimes I love De Bruyne, but I look at David Silva and I think De Bruyne could learn a little bit from now. He picks up the pockets and plays his passes. He's absolutely unreal. And like I say, I just wanted to give it a quick mention just to say what an absolute incredible servant he's been for the club, and hopefully he's not someone that's going to move on. I think he's still got a lot to give, and hopefully, like I say, we can get another couple more seasons out of him just playing that playmaker role that he does so well. And like I said, just incredible servant. What a legend he has been. So we're now going to have a quick recap of the games done last week. Of course, we played Chelsea on Wednesday night at Stamford Bridge, and then Hull on Saturday at the Etihad. And we're going to talk about Chelsea first, as that was the game that was in midweek. And I actually felt we were really unlucky in that game. It was a close match. I think a draw would have been a fair result. And I was just really pleased with our general level of performance, particularly in the first half. Obviously, we went in 2-1 behind after 2. I mean, all 3 goals on the night were from mistakes, essentially. You had the first goal for Chelsea was a deflected goal. That was very unfortunate. I don't think Caballero could have reacted quickly enough for that one, so unlucky for him there. Second goal was obviously our goal, which was from a Courtois mistake, which is very rare. Courtois doesn't often make those. And then obviously we had a bit to do from where he made the mistake, but we capitalised nicely. And then the third goal for Chelsea came from a penalty, which Caballero, I mean, it was a Stonewall penalty. That's out of the question. It was always a penalty, 100%. Caballero saved it, and then it fell straight back into the path of Eden Hazard. And that is just the kind of luck that I think we've been missing this season. That little bit of that rub of the green that could have easily gone either way. I mean, you look at the match right towards the end of the game. There's a great chance for John Stones. The corner comes in. He's a tap in. He's unmarked. He's 6 yards out, but it takes a slight nick on Vincent Kompany going past him at the near post. Puts it a little bit behind him, and it makes the chance a lot more difficult, and he scooped it over. So things like that, the fine margins of football, and what can make the difference. And like I say, in that Chelsea game, I was very pleased with our level of performance. We dominated the ball, but in the second half, Chelsea shut up shop a bit more, and we really did struggle to break them down, which is, you know, Chelsea are a great defensive team. It wasn't like we didn't have chances. Son had a decent chance that Courtois did well to save. We had a couple of decent efforts from Aguero, but not to be on the night, and that shows to me why Chelsea are going to be the champions this year and why we fell short, because I think if we'd have been in that similar position to Chelsea, where they held on to that lead and dug in for 45 minutes in the second half, I think we'd have struggled to do that, because I don't think our defence is capable. But 2-1 defeat, good performance on the night, and just a bit unlucky to summarise the Chelsea game. And moving on to Hull, a very solid performance. It's a home banker, really. I'm actually always expecting City to win, no disrespect to Hull at all. The real disappointment in my eyes was the fact that we didn't keep the clean sheet, and Bravo came back into the team for the first time for a long time in the league and just absolutely screwed up again. It was a simple shot to stop, absolutely trickled into the net, and somehow, I don't think it did take a deflection. Even if it did, it was travelling that slowly. He couldn't react to get down to it. So the loss of the clean sheet really frustrated me, but the level of performance was fantastic again. And I think in that particular match, I mentioned has to go to Raheem Sterling, who was outstanding, set up the one goal for Aguero with electric pace, cut it back. Aguero got a little bit lucky, really, bobbled a bit between a couple of defenders before it went over the line, but I think we dominated the game, deserved to pick up all 3 points. The main thing was I was just disappointed that we couldn't keep the clean sheet in the end, really. So we're going to round up the video, lads, by previewing Southampton away, which is our next Premier League game coming up next week. And it's at St Mary's. It's away from home. It's going to be a tricky game. I think Southampton, the one positive we can take, We're a team that is more than likely going to attack us. I don't think they're going to park the bus and settle for a point at home. I think they're going to attack us, and that could play into our hands on the counter-attack, obviously, with the likes of Sane, Sterling, Aguero, De Bruyne picking those passes, Silva as well. But if they do put pressure on us, it could be an interesting game. I believe that actually last year it was a bit of a goal fest, I think. Did they beat us 3-2 last season? I know Kaliji scored a very, very nice goal, but I don't think it was enough on the day. And hopefully, like I said, we don't have a repeat of that. We need to pick up the 3 points. That top 4 race is getting incredibly, incredibly close, especially after United picked up 3 points yesterday. But yeah, hopefully it's a game we can pick up 3 points from. The 2 things I'm requiring really from the team. Firstly, Caballero needs to start. I've just mentioned it. Bravo screwed up in the last game. Caballero did nothing wrong in his stint in goal, and hopefully he can get that number 1 jersey back. I know he's not really number 1, but you know what I mean. Secondly, I'd like to see some great counter-attacking football. I've just mentioned it can be the key to that game. The likes of Sterling and Sane in particular need to have outstanding games again, I think, if we're going to get anything from the match. It's been rumoured, well, it's not rumoured, it's known that Gabriel Jesus is back in training. I don't think we're going to see him. I mean, I think we're going to see him probably before the season's out, but I think it's only going to be the last game or the last couple of games. I'm really hoping that they don't rush him back, but there is a chance we could potentially see him on the bench for that game, which would be quite exciting to see him back on the pitch, maybe. But yeah, it's going to be a tough game. Southampton away, never an easy fixture, but I do have faith that we can pick up the 3 points. Hopefully, if we play to our best, it should be, I'm not going to say a comfortable game because Southampton are a good team, but I do think it's a game that we could win 3-1 potentially. Again, I don't trust us to keep a clean sheet, but 3-1 is the score I'm going for. We've got plenty of firepower. I can see Southampton coming out to us, and hopefully we can take advantage on the counter-attack. But that is going to round up this video, lads. It's going to round up this episode of City Talk. Like I say, any of the answers to the questions I've answered, leave them in the comment section down below. Let me know your predictions for the Southampton game, your thoughts on the Chelsea and Hull games, and also don't forget to leave questions in the comment section for the next episode, lads, which will be next Monday. So I hope you all enjoyed this. Like I said at the start, if you did, leave a big thumbs up, and I'll catch you all next one, lads. Sorry, lads, my phone just started ringing there just in the middle of the outro. If you did enjoy it, I was just saying leave a big thumbs up, and I'll catch you all in the next video, lads. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Nidge out.
Yo, he's Nidge, plays with big games and player reviews are getting insane. He entertains while he elevates, his video quality resonates. On career mode, he got lots of vids uploading off and he's rocking it. He's got the confidence in all his commentaries. Videos range, they often vary. Got need for speed and a road to glory. Just watching vids, hey, you know the story. The content is underrated, I'm understating, so don't